Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of the Shooters Lounge podcast. I am Matt at PostUp323. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys, to the podcast and also on the socials at the Shooters Lounge. This is going to be the first episode of many, hopefully, where we're going to be talking to some team supporters from the UK who I've come across along the way, who on social media. Obviously, there is basketball fans in the UK who love the NBA as much as they do in America also. So we're going to be talking to a different fan from a different team, hopefully every couple of weeks, and then we're going to upload the episode to YouTube and to Spotify and Apple as a podcast. For the first episode, there was no better person I could think of to do the first episode with, as I'm a Suns fan myself. We've got to start off with the Suns with the first episode, and there's no better man for the job. I'm introducing Matt Elvy for Go On My Suns and also previously Suns fan UK fame. Matt, welcome to the Shooters Lounge, bro. It's good to have you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah, it's good to speak to you again. I think last time we actually spoke properly, like actual talking, was probably when you come on one of my Instagram lives, which was a couple of years ago now. So yeah,
probably longer now, mate. Probably longer now. I think it was a Go On My Son's Instagram live. I think if my name, if my memory serves me right. But
yeah, it was. That's where the name come from. It was initially just for that until Elon forced my hand. But yeah,
the biggest travesty of the artist formerly known as Twitter X, as the Suns fan UK unfortunately ceased to exist. But you're building up the followers again then on the Go On My Suns account.
Yeah. I think I mean, it's like online. You have X amount of followers, but then you actually only really have a community of a smaller group that actually interact. So it seemed I wouldn't say my interactions are any lower from sort of our UK Suns community at all. Sure. It's probably grown a little bit more. I think we've got a couple more people now than what we had before. It's just I haven't got all of I think I was like just over 1,000 or something at the time. So it looks bad, but actually in terms of interaction and like actually the new account has brought in a couple different accounts that I didn't know about before and they're supporting. They've got a lot of followers and their retweets are really helping as well, getting like the daily polls out and stuff like that. So it's really nice. It's quite nice. Like I don't know if people know, but the UK Magic guys did a refresh as well. They changed their handle and stuff, and the cogs started turning then a little bit. Maybe I should do something just to freshen things up a bit. But then, like I said, I kind of had to do something because of losing the other account. But yeah, just trying to build it back up. I was never a follow chaser anyway. It was more about meeting people like you who, we often feel like we're the only ones supporting the team. Niche sport, niche team. And it was just to reach out to everyone just to have the conversation and that's what we're still doing, just trying to pop a tweet out and keep the conversation going. Because I'm sure if I've got a thought, one of you others have had it as well and we or haven't had it and we can discuss that,
Absolutely, man. You're one of the hardest working UK fan accounts, I think, in the kind of NBA UK fans community, man. It's a daily grind, isn't it, man? It's a daily grind, isn't it? I'm kind of finding out myself,
Yeah, you've got to put it out. You've got to put it out, otherwise the algorithms just kill you. They absolutely kill you. So, like, even like Instagram, you've got to put a story on at least once a day.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you just lose so much. Actually, to be fair, that's probably where I've lost stuff the most. Really? Not that I changed the actual account there. It wasn't a new account. I just changed the handle. But I think just the summer break, I really took a break away in the summer and didn't post a lot at all. And Instagram proper dropped. But it's you can't really have conversations on Instagram anyway so much. But
no, probably interacting's more on the artist formerly known as Twitter. I refuse to call it what it is now, so that's kind of what I call it. So
Threads has grown a little bit as well. People starting to talk on there, but I don't think you've got team communities yet. Hashtags aren't quite what they are on X and things like that. But it's starting to grow. I pop stuff on there, but it's the interaction is quite small at the moment. But we
like you say, I think we always thought that we were both, the few of us were the only Suns fans from the UK, but we managed find a small group, haven't we? But they're passionate, aren't they? A couple of passionate fans over here, isn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the case with all the accounts as well. It's to see. I mean, NBA UK fans, they do loads of work as well with it. We've done a couple of meetups with them. I kind of thought about doing it for our lot as well, but we're so spread. So spread. I mean, there's quite a few of you guys up Midlands, North way, but then there's not so many down my way. I'm right down south in the UK, so it'd be, where to find a decent place to go, and then obviously being West Coast games, I don't think we'd actually be able to do a Suns game.
We're meeting at 3 a.m. or something. Tough one, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. You need to get one of them East Coast games going, don't we? Or
that's it. Yeah.
Absolutely. But so as I said, we're going to hopefully have a different fan account on every couple of weeks. So first we're going to go with the Suns. Got a few questions that we can kind of go through, and so the first one, a very broad question, but just to kind of kick us off as to how you think the season's going, Matt. How do you think it's going for the Suns so far? Are we right where we need to be? Are we a work in progress? Or do we not need to do anything? Are we okay as we are?
I'd say we're finally getting to where we need to be. So obviously, I think where we are now is where we would have been maybe in December if it wasn't for the injuries. I think we've had the best record since like the 10th or 11th of January, something along those lines. But obviously, Bradley Beal pulled his hamstring. Well, that's what they said. I don't know how severe it is. Just before the break. But no, it's been good to see it come together. It's just taken that little bit longer. I think people get wrapped up in the social media of we've won a game, we're the best team in the league, and we've lost a game, and oh my God, we need to trade everyone and things like that. And we try and stay evil kill. But I think actually, we've been doing all right. We've lost some games that we really shouldn't have. But I think looking around the league, there's all the big teams are facing that as well. There's been lots of games where you're like, okay, Detroit, or what was it? The Bucks lost to Memphis the other night and stuff like that. I mean, even with the coaching change, like the talent they've got, you shouldn't be losing that. But we've had that as well. We had a terrible game against the Wizards, then next game lost to the Blazers and stuff like that. So it just shows that it's a really fun season for the whole league. I think it's been really good. Like the big teams are strong. Obviously, Celtics are doing really well. The West is as close as ever. Clippers finally reaching their potential as well. But I think we're right West, in there. We're right in the mix.
West, like it's stacked, isn't it? The West. It's
I think you usually call it a bloodbath, don't you? Usually,
it really is, mate. Yeah, there's 10 decent teams in there, isn't there? That either any of them you got in the first round, you'd be like, that could be a bit of a slog, like isn't it? So whoever you get, even round one, I think you kind of you're running uphill already, mate, aren't you? So
absolutely.
For sure.
But overall, I'm fairly happy with the season so far. It's obviously we've had some disappointing losses. Like I said, I think for me, I just really wanted to win that Christmas Day game. It's our second one back after 15 odd seasons or whatever, and we bloody lost to Dallas, which is always a bad thing.
Fell to Luka again, didn't we, mate?
I mean, he's incredible. As much as I hate him, he's incredible.
I mean, you can not be a fan, but you can also appreciate, when somebody's like pretty good, can't you? But
that's it.
As much as it pains you to say it, he's like, damn, he's good. He's good.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I wouldn't complain if he was on our team. Do you know what I mean? If things had gone slightly differently, but when he's on another team.
Does the Ayton Luka decision still hurt us? I don't know, but we wouldn't be where we are, would we, if we'd had Luka? Who knows where we beat? One of them crossroads things, isn't it? But Ayton not being on the team anymore. Were you Ayton an Ayton fan, Matt? I can't remember which side you were on actually.
Yeah, I mean, leading into the draft, I don't really do a lot of draft research, but it was to be fair, I'd heard Luka, but I did have that kind of it won't translate to the NBA thing. So yeah, I was all in on Ayton. Plus having Booker, I was kind of thinking that, get a big guy in.
Yeah.
Because that's a position we needed. We've never had a good big guy. And as hindsight shows, we didn't, or we did for a season and a half.
Yeah.
I wasn't apologetic for a while. I was kind of like, he's still young, he's still learning. And I knew that when we got CP3, he'd really learn. But there's no excuse for the bad attitude. We're seeing it continue even in Portland. There was a report last week about his attitude since he's been there and stuff. And yes, there's no excuse for that. I think I praised him when he deserved it. I gave him a hard time when he deserved it as well. I used to like David Nash, 4-point play on Twitter. He was always really good with the ups and downs of Ayton. And I quite often he used to do a newsletter, and even when he finished doing that, I used to go back. He did a really big one on Ayton. And I kind of used to go back and read that just to kind of go, okay, like what's actually happening here? But it just come down to attitude. Unfortunately, he didn't want to be there, to the point that he wanted to sign with Indiana, which at the time was kind of like a bit of a head scratcher.
Dodged that bullet, didn't they?
Well, yeah, they did. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Hell yeah. But yeah,
I miss those newsletters, bro. I miss those newsletters. 4-point play, man. They were cracking, weren't they? Brilliant.
They were so good. They were so good. He
really,
still does
good.
Threads on Twitter sometimes when the moment takes him, and then it takes you back to those ones and stuff. But yeah, I mean, if you've got an old link, if you were subscribed to his newsletter, you can still get into it and have a read through and stuff. But Ayton's a real head scratcher.
Even now, I think he still divides opinion, doesn't he?
Yeah. I mean, he could have gone to Portland and gone, do you know what? I'm going to prove my worth and all that sort of stuff. But he just hasn't. No. And I was joking around with Blazers UK when the trade happened.
Oh God!
Because I was so happy that we got Nurkic. I think the first tweet I put out was like, "Can't wait to see Nurkic in like just the high post." Like before even seeing the offense, I just knew that he's such a great passer from what we'd seen from him in the past. And I wasn't sad to see Ayton go. The only thing I was thinking to myself the other night when we were watching the Kings was that we could have had Sabonis if James Jones had just pulled the trigger. I don't think it was last season. I think it was the season before. Yeah, we could have had Sabonis instead of him. So that's the only thing I think. But even then, Ayton was still playing well, and it was still that kind of. I think there was a whole thing of he's playing even keel, but he'll pick it up in the playoffs like he did in our finals run. But obviously, no one quite knew how bad the relationship had got at that point, and then it all blew up in the playoffs, didn't it? So
I don't think he was ever the same after we didn't give him the extension after the finals run. He was never the same after that, was he? I think that's isn't it?
He spoke about it wasn't about money and stuff like that, but clearly it was. He felt disrespected, and I think part of that Sava. We've all heard the stories the way he treats players in those situations of extensions and those interviews, and that's not an excuse, but you can be a professional about it. You know that if you play well in the NBA, you're going to get your money. And when it comes to the difference, when you're earning that much, does it really matter if it's 20 mil more than what it was when you're on 100 mil? Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
Well, horrible position to be in, mate, isn't it? But
exactly.
100%. Yeah, I think that's the DeAndre Ayton experience, isn't it? It's one night it's 18 and 12, and then the next night it's 7 and 2, and that's DeAndre Ayton, isn't it? That's the experience that we had, isn't it? It was some days it was great. Some days he was engaged. If he was engaged and engaged defensively and stuff, he could be a real kind of game changer and asset. But on other days, he just looked lethargic, uninterested, and that's, like you say, it looks like that's how he's kind of taking it into his second tenure with Portland. I mean, one game he didn't make the game because the roads were too icy or something. I read that. It was like, Yeah, that's DeAndre Ayton. That's
Yeah,
DeAndre
that's
Ayton
him.
experience.
I thought he was going to come out as British, to be honest. Like we can't do anything when there's a bit of ice on the ground.
Gets a bit cold here, mate. We're at standstill, aren't we? Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I thought it was that. But then like a few nights later, they played the Nuggets, and he had like a really good game because he turned up to play against Jokic, and then like I think their last game this week, I checked. I saw he was trending, and I thought I'll go see what the box score was. And it was like 4 points, 2 rebounds in like 25 minutes, and I was like, "What?"
yeah. Don't miss that anymore. I think we've got a bit more consistency now, haven't we?
100%. I think Nurkic is great. I really do. He's exactly. Do you remember when we used to talk about like Saric and Kaminsky, how they were that kind of interconnecting piece? He's that has more skill than them in terms of being that big guy and backing people down and doing that in the paint. He's not the best defender, but if you see our plus minus numbers when he's on the court, both offensively and defensively, we're way better with him there because he's a really intelligent player and can play well within the system. And just the fact that he's 7 foot, 300 pounds, I mean, that's a deterrent, whether you're a good defender or not. You think twice, don't you? Yeah. 6'2" and you smack into him, you're going to know about it.
Absolutely. I think the basketball IQ is so much higher, bro, as well, isn't it? Like
amazing.
It's night and day, I think, isn't it? You know, it's for Ayton. The basketball IQ just wasn't there, and to play with somebody like Chris Paul, whose basketball IQ was so high. Yeah, he probably was just couldn't understand why somebody didn't understand where they got to go, or why haven't you slotted in there, or whatever. I just think Ayton's basketball IQ wasn't that high either.
No,
I kind of stand by that. But I was always a supporter like you, bro. I thought he's on my team. If you're on my team, I'm with you, kind of thing. I'm not one of those fans who were always berating people. I don't really like doing that as a fan personally. If you're on my team, I'm with you, and I'm always trying to be as encouraging as I can. Obviously, sometimes people test that theory, but you know, if I can, I'll try to, I'm with you, kind of thing. We're all in it together, as crazy as it sounds.
Yeah, I think it's fair to give constructive criticism, and things like that. Which I'm sure anything we say online, they've thought about it and spoke to each other about it. But when it comes to people just tweeting trade this guy and all that sort of stuff, that's not fair. They've got a family. It's not a case of just moving from London to Milton Keynes. You know what I mean? It's moving from London to like Turkey. Like that's the distance in the US. So that's it's a big thing.
Oh, well, absolutely, mate. Absolutely, yeah. So at the moment we're 33 and 22. So we've got to fifth in the West. We've been a bit lower. We've been a bit higher. But at the moment, we're kind of, like you say, we've had a lot of injuries, haven't we? Leading as we've gone in, like Bradley Beal's, like he's been hit in the face several times. He's had a bad back. Now he's strained his hamstring or pull. I'm not quite sure at the moment where we're at with it, but like you say, he's definitely been in the wars, hasn't he? Book's been out for a bit. KD. Our margin's so fine, isn't it, in terms of injuries? We cannot have any injuries, or else it's all tumbling down. It's a bit of house of cards, mate, isn't it? I don't know if you think the same, mate.
Although I think if one of them's out, we're not too bad. We can win a few games there, but we can't win extensively and go into the playoffs without those guys ready. So as much as people will moan why they not allowed to call it resting or whatever anymore, but recovering from injuries, even it's an extra few games than what they probably need. I'd rather that now and have them ready for the playoffs.
This is it, mate. It's a war of attrition, isn't it? The season. It's a long season. It's in a very condensed period of time, isn't it? 82 games, in a pretty short space of time. And, like I say, is it worth bringing them a couple of games earlier? It really isn't, because we want to be there in April, May, June, don't we? That's the point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, when Book was out with the sore hip the other night, once again, I think that was just precautionary. If that was the playoffs, we wouldn't have even heard about an injury at all.
Probably not,
it was just, we better make sure he's all right. He's not resting the whole of the All-Star break because he'd be playing. I know they don't go hard, but, the way he is, he does play with a certain level of intensity. I think probably even when he's just training, So they've got to protect that a little bit. Yeah. It's a bit crazy to think that KD has been our most reliable.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to say, though. Yeah, I hate to say.
I just jinxed it. Sorry, Suns.
I know. Yeah, we'll touch wood, guys. Don't worry. But it's KD hasn't had that yearly injury yet. I mean, he had that freak injury last year, didn't he? I mean, who gets injured in the layup line? I mean, I think that's when I realised last year. It's like, this isn't our year, mate. This isn't it, mate. When you start getting injured in layup lines, I'm like, we're done. We're done, bro.
To be fair, as soon as we made that trade, the way it gutted the team so much, I was kind of like, we're not contending this year. It's CP3 struggles all of last year with injury, and then trying to integrate KD, and then missing all those games. Like, I mean, we did so well even in the second round against the Nuggets with what we had. Yeah. So it's all good. It's all good. I mean, it's coming together.
People said last year that the Denver series was one-sided and there was only going to be one winner. I mean, we took 2 games off them, and
we were the only team to do it. So
exactly. Yeah, but people seem to give Minnesota more credit than we had, which I felt was a bit strange. But like, KD and Booker had to play so well in those 2 games just to win those 2 games, didn't they? They can do that. They're that good, aren't they? That's as simple as that, isn't it? Well, didn't really get a lot of credit, dude. But like you say, because of that trade, I think they were looking, maybe not this year, but then next year, we might be in a better position, and they've definitely added some pieces. What are your thoughts on a big 3, Matt? Are you a big 3 kind of guy? You have 3 big stars, and then underneath, or what are your thoughts on that?
Generally, no. I think one's like ours is not so bad, actually. I think one's like the way Boston come together. That was cool. They all complement each other. All 3 of them were on the backside of their careers. Obviously, ours isn't quite like that. We've got Booker, who's in his prime. Bill's on the back end of his prime. KD's prime has been since he entered the league. You know what I mean? So it's a bit of a weird one there. But I think we could see, even if you look on, every week I'm on Basketball Reference, and you can see Bradley Bill's stats. They did start to drop in the last few years because he was carrying the load of the whole team for many years. And I think the way he's slotted in as the, quote unquote, third option, it's so well. And it shows in his shooting numbers. His shooting numbers are up. I don't think he's forcing any shot at all. He's probably forced a couple of end of shot clock ones this season, but apart from that, he's not. He's playing loose. He's playing really well. But no, generally in the past, I was kind of against big 3s. I always thought if you're too top heavy, it will just collapse, sort of thing. But then the way that the CBA, the collective bargaining agreements, used to work is that you could then, over a few years, build up with mid-level exception guys, and obviously we haven't got that now, so we've got to hope that we have more people like Eric Gordon come in that are still good serviceable veterans that are happy to play on a minimum contract and work around that. But no, generally I was always kind of against a big 3, not because we didn't have it or anything like that. It was just purely from a playing basketball standpoint. Generally, it hasn't always worked. I mean, even if you think of big 3s in the past, like the Lakers and the Celtics in the 80s, they still had other players. And if you think about it, they didn't really have a big 3. They had 4, 5 players, if you look, they're Hall of Famers. And it's because you didn't have the money restrictions back then.
No, we're well into the luxury tax now, aren't we? Matt Esri has gone all in, hasn't he? Really, I think it's pretty safe to say.
Did you see his quotes from the Pat McAfee interview? Did as of recording yesterday?
No.
He was on the Pat McAfee show and basically said what he's repeated to us, but on a national scale, that like he doesn't care how much it costs because. If we get success, the money will follow. So basically what we've heard, as part of the Suns community already, but to hear it again and basically telling the national media, I will keep spending until we're successful. And that shows again, like, we've got a G League coming again, a G League team. Which is really exciting.
Are we the last team then, I think? We were the last team to not have one, I think.
Yeah, because we sold ours to Detroit. We were the only one without one.
That's right.
and then so I think there's going to be 32 teams in the G League, and every team either has links to one or owns one now, something like that. Sure. So we're back in there, which is good because we've got a couple of two-way guys that at the moment kind of just sit on our bench or go somewhere else. I think we use Grand Rapids. I think we still use the Detroit one that was ours before. So I think that'd be really fun. It's going to have a brand new name as well, because before it was just North Arizona Suns. So there's a naming competition for that. But no, I mean, everything, it seems like Matt Elvy is really good. I was a bit worried because of, obviously the KD trade was really good and amazing. But for me, it was kind of like, oh God, have we got an interfering owner? It still remains to be seen. We might have an interfering owner still. We don't know. But so far, it seems like, he's almost self-made. I know his dad started his business, but he's built it into the multi-million pound, billion, I guess.
Billions,
if you've got billion, dollar company that it is. You've got to be able to take on feedback. You don't build that by yourself. And I think he's still giving James Jones the reins to do that, which is cool.
In James Jones, we trust. I think he's we've steered us pretty well, I think, over the years, hasn't he? I mean, with Matt Elvy, I think he wanted to come in and make a splash, didn't he? And I think the KD deal was, I need to make a splash, let's get KD.
If it didn't happen, then it would have happened in the summer. It was bound to happen.
I think kind of Bridges was kind of like a stumbling block on the KD deal, and Matt Elvy coming going.
It was the summer before.
It's a no-brainer. Like, is this the we can get KD? Like,
it has. Seeing Mikal go over there and Johnson, like, as great as they are, as great people as they are. Yeah. I would say we're still in the better position considering how the Nets season's going. Unfortunately, I like the Nets. I've always liked the Nets, but it's definitely worked for us. Obviously.
Are you a Frank Vogel guy, Matt? Are you a fan of Vogel before or now, or thoughts on Vogel?
I watched a lot of Indiana, Miami back in the day because that was the big thing that was going on. Obviously, there was a lot of Miami on the telly and stuff, so you saw a lot of that. And I thought he was really good then. He was a good young up and coming coach. Obviously, his defense is amazing, and what he coaches, from what I understand, it's a very difficult system to learn, which is why our defense wasn't great straight away. And I don't think we'll be a top defense, but as long as we're top half, I think we'll be okay.
It was rough to start with, though, wasn't it?
I think I was putting it lightly there, but it's a difficult one. But no, I think he's okay. You don't, as much as people call it the Mickey Mouse Championship, you still got to coach those players. You still got to beat the other team. And in terms of coaching, if you beat a team coached by Eric Spoelstra, that's pretty good to put on your CV in my mind. I guess he's doing a bit of the offense, but seeing that a lot of our offense is pulled over from last year, but with some tweaks, it seems like it's Kevin Young's playbook there.
So they nearly gave the job to, didn't they? They nearly gave him he interviewed for that coaching job, didn't he? So
I think that just shows it was kind of like one of those things of, look, we appreciate everything you've done, and we can see that that offense is majority yours, but you're just not there yet in terms of maybe managing the people, especially with having superstars on the team. I think you needed, as much as we don't hear anything about KD being like a coach killer or anything like that, but I think there still needs to be a level of clout behind the name, I guess.
But no,
and I think he took a couple of games to do some adjustments, but then he did do adjustments. And I think what we saw with Monty sometimes last year is he would make an adjustment and then stick with it for too long. He would go, no, this is my adjustment for this game and we're sticking with it. Whereas Vogel, tried a couple of players and went, well, that strategy isn't going to work against this other team. I think Monty used to coach in almost like in that underdog way, in terms of, this team does this, so I've got to try and do this to combat it, when actually we should be the alpha, so they should be trying to change their system and coaching to try and beat us, not the other way around. And I think Vogel does do that. But yeah, he hasn't done much to upset me so far, I don't think. I think there was a couple of boo-boos here and there, but that's sports, that's human nature, but very small things. And like I said, he, would Bol have got minutes under Monty last year? Probably not, just because he was young, whereas he's got out there. And I think Vogel said, when someone asked when will he play, and I think the answer to, just to cut, not quote it or whatever, but it was basically when he starts doing what I ask him to in training, then I can translate that to the floor. And there we are. And he's been really fun to watch. Once again, when we signed him, I was like, what? We basically had to get rid of campaign to keep him. I was a bit like, we haven't seen anything special from him. And then when he didn't play at the beginning of the season, I was a bit like, for God's sake, what a waste. He's going to go at the trade deadline or whatever. But actually, I'm, more than happy that I've been proven wrong there. It's been good. He's sort of our 7th or 8th guy off the bench, like regular rotations. It's it's good for him, really good for him, because he's one of those guys, and I said it before on another pod I was on recently. I think he's one of those guys that if he'd stayed in college maybe a couple more years, his progression would be a lot further along than where it is.
Very raw, like
absolutely. But he's definitely got so much talent. And I think being around someone like KD, who similar body style, obviously Bol doesn't quite move like KD, but not many 7-footers do, let's be honest. But you can definitely learn a thing or two from there. So.
They all seem to like him though as well, don't they? He seems to have real likability about him, and everybody's kind of pulling for him, It's it seems like a popular guy in the camp, doesn't he? For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Very good. Well, segue into that, mate. Obviously, always have kind of, surprises and disappointments usually as we go along. Have you got things that you've been surprised? You might have answered one of them or two of them already. I don't know, but
I suppose Bol is one of those. Definitely. I suppose just like. I think everything else, nothing's really surprised me. I think Booker, it was, I went into the season knowing that he would probably average, the similar amount of points, high 20s, and he'd be, assisting a lot more. So his assists would go up. What are they? They're up where they were when we had Ricky on the team, sort of thing. High 7.7 or something like that. So that's all cool.
Yeah.
KD scoring ridiculous numbers like it's nothing.
He had like quiet 32-point games, doesn't he, KD? You're like,
you don't you remember him hitting like 2 or 3 shots, and then he's just got like 35, and you're like, what?
You have a look at the box score, and you're like, what? It's the quietest 32 I've ever seen. Like, just nothing's forced. It's all in the offense, isn't it? That's it. And his 3-point shooting percentage is ridiculous, isn't it, as well?
I think it's dropped a little bit recently, but it's still like 46%. I think it was as of last week when I wrote my article.
If your percentage is dropping to 46%, I mean, we've been at a high level, haven't we? Him and Grayson Allen are just, shooting the lights out. And
he's definitely been one of the surprises for me as well, Grayson Allen. When we got him, I wasn't against it at all. Obviously, you see all the bad stuff online, but you've got to wait till you see it. And people still think he's not a great person in terms of that. But we've seen nothing bad at all so far. And actually, as soon as the trade went down, I had a message from UK Bucks, and he just put, "You're going to love Grayson." And
as in being serious or as well?
Yeah. Sean was being absolutely serious. He said he's gonna love him, and I put, stuff's happened. He went, honestly, don't believe everything you see on the internet. And we've given him more scope to play. He had that 14 assists career high the other night.
Dishing it like John Stockton, mate, that night.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, Steve Nash was back for the night.
Absolutely, yeah.
So he's been really good. Like, he does a lot more playmaking. I think he's career highs in pretty much every stat, which is cool. And I didn't realize how much he drove to the hoop and stuff like that. And that really does open up the offense quite a lot. He's really good at attacking early in sort of like the semi-transition, like when they're sort of out of not quite in their defensive set yet. He really attacks the rim, which is really cool because we haven't, especially when Bradley was out, we didn't have anything like that. So Grayson was really doing that. Really underrated passer. Obviously, we saw the 14 assists, but even before that, he's a very intelligent player. So he's been a real nice surprise. I thought he would just come in, play. Obviously, I knew he wasn't a top tier defender, but I knew that we would try and use him against other teams' better defenders. I remember putting a tweet out about that. But yeah, because I knew that the effort would be there all the time. Yeah. That's what we'd seen at least. And I think some of those quote unquote dirty plays, some of them weren't dirty at all. He had one, I think the last one when he was in Milwaukee, it wasn't a dirty play. It was just a hard foul, but because it was him, they called it dirty. But it just shows sometimes that they play hard. So yeah, he's been a really nice surprise. But yeah, everything else has been fairly okay. I don't think nothing surprised me. I mean, in disappointments, the bench. I think we all convinced ourselves that because we got Eric Gordon on a minimum, all these other guys on a minimum would bring us the same value. And obviously we've adjusted now. They're gone. I think James Jones did a really good job turning 4 players that hadn't played. I think
they've been given the chances though, haven't they, bro, throughout the season, and they haven't really kind of
Cater Bates Diop had played a little bit more in recent weeks, and was starting to crack the rotation, but he was still a bad defender. His 3-point shot was really inconsistent, which was really sad because last season in San Antonio he shot a career high. I think it was like low 40s, so it was quite a real shame, and I think he lost his confidence wise. Utah just absolutely lost it. He just shat his pants basically this season with us, which is really unfortunate because KD really liked him, and I think he was shooting 46% from corner threes last season with the Nets. So he could have been a really big one. But I said it, there was, I think, maybe 4 or 5 games in a row, I started looking out for it. As soon as he hit the court, the other team targeted him, and 3 games in a row, first defensive play, he got, he fouled them. And they 3 teams in a row all did it and got that same thing. And I think he got in his own head in terms of, he was like, I can't stay on the court because my defense is so bad. And then the ball, when he got the 3, become a bit of a hot potato. And he just lost that confidence. But yeah, so that was the bench was a real shame. But we shipped out those 4 guys, got back 2. I don't think David Roddy. Royce O'Neal was a really good player. He was really good even when he was with Utah. He was always hard. I think he may have lost a step a little bit on defense, but that comes with being 30 years old and being in the league for 8 years or whatever. But he is a very intelligent player, as we've seen already. Even in his first game, you could see him in the huddle talking, and then they come out of the huddle at one point, and he quickly huddled up the guys going on the court again and was pointing. And I don't know if he was asking questions or whatever, but I think he's bringing that vocal presence that maybe we don't have. I think maybe Eric Gordon does a little bit, going by comments he said earlier in the season. But I think Royce is going to be a bit more emotional than Eric, and we've seen it on court already, celebrating threes and stuff like that. And
we need a dog, don't we? We haven't got a dog.
Yeah, exactly.
We need
a dog.
Somebody.
I mean, I think Nurkic is an enforcer, but you need that dog on the wing as well, and we've got that. I mean, according to Woj, we're getting Thaddeus Young. It's 4 or 5 seasons too late. I'm not sure. I'm still not sold on it. I don't know how much he's still got left in the tank because he hasn't played.
No,
I think he's played about 23 or 24 games with Toronto, and all those have been recently. So it hasn't been like that he played earlier on and he's been benched or whatever. But I don't know. And then I think it was Mike Vigil from the Timeline Pod was suggesting that he'll play centre. So he'll be that connector again, a bit like Dario and Kaminsky
in a small ball lineup instead of playing KD at the 5, probably. I'd say.
Something like that. So Yeah, that may work. I know he was very quick hands back in the day. He's quite good at stealing the ball and things like that. But yeah, once again, I'm happy to be proven wrong, but I don't know how that'll go.
Skeptical.
Yeah, I am a little bit. He's always had a wonky 3-point shot. But he's, once again, you don't stay in the league for 18 years without bringing value. And even if that's one playoff game where he makes 2 or 3 plays that wins it for us, do you know what I mean? That's definitely worth a minimum contract that's 30 or games worth of money. Do you know what I mean? It's definitely worth it. So.
Yeah. I think they've probably got him in, mate, really, as, if Eubanks isn't quite, on it that day or something, then maybe, Young is somebody they can bring in kind of thing,
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
A veteran who's been in some big games. And because, obviously watching the Suns like we do, mate, Eubanks can kind of sometimes look a bit lost or something, can't he? But
he's a real weird one. Like
when he's not getting punched free game or
yeah, it's kind of like every other game or every few games he'll forget what to do on offense. Like he'll just be like, where am I, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And like,
hang on, what am I doing again? That's like Ball on the other end, isn't it? Ball sometimes just looks like, I have no idea what I'm meant to be doing right now.
It's all legs and arms with Ball on the defense. Bless him.
I mean, it's eventful when it happens, but
yeah. But no, it's going to be interesting the next bit. I don't know when this Thaddeus Young signing is going to be made official. I haven't seen anything.
No, I haven't. It's all got a bit hush-hush, really, hasn't it, after? So,
So Woj tweeted about it, and then there's no one else, or was it Shams? I'm not sure which one it was, but there was no sort of follow-up. And then we got the break Shams, now. Maybe the contract will get done during the break, and it'll get announced after All-Star, but they don't want to put that in with all the All-Star promoting that they're doing online, I guess.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, pretty much similar to you, mate. Surprises, Grayson Allen, like you say, you got that kind of rep, and then when you start watching people every 2 or 3 times a week, you kind of you're like, man, you've got a lot more to your game than I thought. I just thought he was a 3-and-D guy, and then he's like, man, he can put the ball on the floor, and he's got that shot fake, and then he can go past somebody. I was like, I didn't realize you got that. It was kind of like
I can imagine he's pretty high up on other team scouting reports. Like and having him there, like when he's in that starting lineup, is bloody crazy. Like who do they defend? The amount of frees he gets open at the beginning of the game.
Well,
you'd think that's when the other team's defense would be the tightest because they've just spoken about it. Yeah, just shows how great and a luxury it is to have him there.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Grayson Allen, you're thinking, I'm going to have the 4th best player, the 4th best defender guarding me, mate. Like, it was, just really, or whoever they're trying to rest on the other end or something, and it must just be a dream, isn't it? Because obviously, Book, KD, and Beal are going to take so much away, aren't they? Like their emphasis at the defensive team at the other end, it's. Grayson Allen's must just be loving it because, like you say, he gets some wide open shots, doesn't he? 100%. So that was the thing, and like you say, he's passing as well, underrated. And I haven't seen anything like you say, dude, that's made me think, he's a dirty player or anything. He come into the league with that, didn't he? Because didn't
he make some bad plays in college or something? I don't know. I don't watch college ball.
He tried to trip people up and
okay.
Stuff that you do when you're young, you're daft and whatever. But I haven't seen anything with us, mate. He had a hard foul against Fox, didn't he, the other night against the Kings?
Yes.
But I didn't think it was dirty. I just thought he tried to get the ball, and unfortunately, he hit Fox, didn't he?
Yeah, it was just part of the follow through as he went down to get it, and him and Fox dabbed straight after, and it was just fine. That's how it should be. But I think, it's reputations, like negative reputations, are hard to shake.
Absolutely, right. Absolutely. Good point, dude. Yeah. Disappointments. Turnovers, man. They're so frustrating, aren't they? I mean, we're up there in turnovers, aren't we? We've got to be in top 5 turnovers. We must average, it feels like 14 or 15 a game, and you just like, take care of the ball, man. Like, and
I can't remember when it was. It was the other week. I can't remember who we were playing. It wasn't a great team. It was just a normal team or whatever. It wasn't one of the big ones. And I think it was 2 plays in a row. We made the same pass that led to the same turnover, like exactly the same. It's like,
come on, boys.
And it was like KD, or do you know what I mean? Like it's just,
yeah.
And to be fair to him, he's not a playmaker; he's a scorer. But then they'll make some crazy passes as well. But some of the errors are just really unforced, which is the shame. You don't mind if they're turnovers, I don't know, like offensive fouls and stuff like that. But when they're unforced turnovers,
some of them are just like
it's just so frustrating. And it seems like they can switch it on when they need to, but it's playing against good teams in the playoffs. That's gonna bloody kill us.
Yeah, absolutely. Easy baskets for the other team, or it's like you say, it's going to be tough to overcome stuff like that. I mean, when we beat Detroit pretty handedly, didn't we? Before the All-Star break, we had 23 turnovers.
I know. Could you imagine that against like?
I mean, you do that against Denver, or it's over.
Even the Lakers. Imagine that many turnovers at the top of the key with LeBron around there. Like if he gets on the break, even at his age, people aren't catching up with him, and like even the crap teams can lay the ball in.
Sure.
But yeah, we're just lucky that we're against them. But yeah, there's been so many losses this year where it's been out rebounded, out hustled, and tons of turnovers. Like you can have one of them, maybe 2, but you can't have all 3 of those.
Yeah, it's recipe for disaster, mate, isn't it? Like it's losing basketball, isn't it? Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. So, do you have any season predictions, Matt? Will you put your neck on the line, mate, and say?
So usually, as you know, every year I do a predictions article.
Absolutely.
And this year I didn't do one.
No,
because I wasn't sure whether I was going to continue with the website or not.
Right. Yes.
So I was kind of like, do I don't know? So I was like, no, I'll leave it. I was still in that kind of chill mode. I'm not going to do it. And the season come around, because even at that point, I didn't even know if I was going to do my weekly newsletter. So I didn't do any predictions, which is bad. So usually I do those. I do my big thinking, and then I try and stick with them throughout the year and see how it goes.
Yeah. Or read them at the end of the season going, what was that I thinking?
Yeah.
That's usually how my predictions go, bro.
Yeah. And like usually, I think last year I was a bit unorganized. I didn't think about it until the day before, but usually I reach out to yourself and some others in the community to do your versions as well. But yeah, do you know what? I haven't really thought about it. I've just been trying to enjoy the season, like having KD on the team, booking his prime, and Beal. Like we've never seen this much talent on our team.
I thought we peaked having Chris Paul on our team, mate, for those few years, but now to go from CP to Durant, it's just
crazy, isn't it?
We've seen the dog days, Matt, haven't we? We've seen the dog days of them 10 years of not making the playoffs, bro.
We've been through a lot. We've been through a lot, and it feels good. But like I said, I've just been trying to take it game by game. I didn't buy League Pass last year, so I'm enjoying being able to watch every game again. So yeah, I don't know. I'd like to think we should get to at least the West Finals. That's I'd be happy with that. Obviously, we want to win a championship. Until this week, I was, like I said earlier, concerned about our bench. I think our bench has improved tons just by the fact we've got a actual rotation player in Royce O'Neal, because we didn't really have a solid. Like, really, those guys we got rid of, were they getting playoff minutes? Like,
no. They had the chance. No. They had chance. They had minutes, and I think if you wanted to play yourself in, they had the opportunity. I think Vogel gave them chances, didn't he? For sure, mate. But they didn't deliver. So,
but even if I think for those guys, even if they were playing at their maximum potential, I still don't think they'd have got playoff minutes. So
didn't quite have it.
That,
Sure.
I mean, I knew that KD and Book would get All-Star. That was a given. Yeah, sorry, I'm a bit boring with the old predictions. I haven't done it this year. Usually I go in
Hey, don't
depth
worry
and
about
go,
it.
a player will average X amount of points and all that sort
Hey,
of
Matt,
stuff.
yeah,
But
your predictions are always very specific, mate. He'll average 8.8 assists.
I like to
oh,
go,
wow, okay.
yeah, I'm either going to be on fire in like a good way or in a bad way, one or the other.
Yeah, I thought Buka was going to average a career high in assists this season just simply because he was going to be the ball handler for majority of the time. I think that was kind of an easy one to spot, wasn't it? But like you say, I mean, our bar, you want to go all the way, don't you? You've got KD, and he's still playing at a very high level for how long he's been in the league. That's the level, isn't it? And have we got enough to win it? I mean, who knows? It's not about how you start the season; it's about how you finish, isn't it? For sure.
Yeah.
I think we're trending in the right direction, bro, aren't we? For sure.
Oh, yeah, 100%, 100%. Like I said, I just want to see what more we do maybe on this buyout market. I think even with Thaddeus Young, we've still got another space, but I don't even know. It's really hard to predict this year even who's going to be bought out. And out of those people that maybe are candidates, who would be any good? I don't fall into this group of people that are calling out for a point guard.
I was at the start of the season. I thought we're going to need somebody to run the second unit, but I think as the season's gone on, they've just kind of staggered Booker and Beal, haven't they? So we haven't actually needed one. So I've been turned around a little on that, bro. I'm not going to lie, because I was thinking, who's running the second unit? We haven't got anybody. So I have been turned around on that a bit, mate. To be fair,
yeah, I think where we do need it is when we are hit with injuries. So like now, for example, say we've got a few games without Bill, who's looking after that ball with the second unit if Booker is not there?
Because we tried Gordon as a point guard at the beginning of the year and it did not look good.
It's never been him. That's never been him, though.
That's not him.
It's not fair on him.
No,
like he was probably told you're just going to come in, just shoot the ball as much as you want, sort of thing. And he's done a very good job with that, the way he's been in and out of the starting lineup and the bench and things like that.
Is it me, though, or does Gordon think he's fouled on every time he goes to the basket?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to him, at the beginning of the season, they were swallowing their whistle ridiculously. Now, I think he's actually shocked if he gets the whistle. But I think sometimes
every play, bro.
and I think sometimes part of it is he goes to jump and he's kind of like in the air, and he's like, shit, I can't jump anymore. So he's got to go, I was fouled.
But I mean, he had an alley-oop, didn't he, the other night?
Yeah.
He actually got
I think that's the only time he's jumped this whole season.
That's his only dunk the whole year, man. Yeah, absolutely. But like you say, it's kind of like, I must have been fouled or else I'd have made it. And I
I mean, I love that confidence. That's awesome.
Mate, I wish I had that confidence.
Reality check, bless him. But no, I'm going to do a horrible prediction, actually. Even at the end of this season, Booker won't be considered by the wider audience as a top 10 player. I guarantee when I do unless I get a pick to do it, when we do our end of year top 50 players that I do with Miami Heat UK, Rich Barrett, UK Pacers.
That's a great watch, man.
I guarantee that
idea was awesome.
Oh yeah, it's so much fun. It's so good. I guarantee I'll be arguing with someone there, and they'll say that Book is not top 10, and they'll say he's only as good as he is because he's got KD and Beal on his team. I guarantee it. And if they're watching this, and the last 2 years it's been Matt Hardy that's let me down. Matt on Matt violence, I called it before, and he always does it. And then he'll go, "Oh yeah, it's because I only watch Nets basketball."
Okay, very well, fair. Okay,
I guarantee he still won't be considered a top 10 player.
Yeah, the Booker slander is just incredible, isn't it? Like say,
I mean, I can imagine like other teams watching. He does complain a lot on the court and all that. He probably is seen as a really annoying player. Same like what we say about Luka. Do you know what I mean? Like great player, but bloody annoying. And I'm sure it's the same for others. It's just because we're in that fandom. We love that guy. We draft him and stuff. So I get it.
Yeah. Oh, that's fair, mate. That's fair. That's a fair point, bro, isn't it? Yeah. It's like if he's not on your team, you'll hate him, but you'll love him if he's on your team. there are players like that, aren't they? Yeah, that's a good point, mate. Never thought of it like that, dude. So yeah, that's fair, mate. So we'll move on. Couple of questions left, mate. Have you got any favourite players or player that not on the Suns who you kind of admire? Anybody you kind of think, oh yeah, I mean he's really good to watch, or you enjoy watching him?
Yeah, I mean, there's not really many that I'll go. Like back in the day, I used to check every single box score, like all the time. Like as a kid, you just loved the game so much that you loved every player. Like now, it's kind of like I've got time to check my Suns, watch my Suns, and not a lot else. But I do really like Tyrese Halliburton. I've always admired shooters, and obviously growing up watching Steve Nash, I love that mold of player. That's why I loved CP3 as well, and like Deron Williams and all that sort of stuff. And he is that new age version of that. So yeah, I always look out for Tyrese Halliburton. I really enjoy watching him.
I can't watch him, mate. It just makes me cry because we could have taken him in the draft and we didn't.
Oh, don't. No, you can't do that to yourself.
No, we could have had him behind CP for a couple of years, and then he could have just strolled right in. It's all right, lads. I've got this.
Yeah. That'd have been nice. That'd have been nice.
I'll always remember the name Jalen Smith. I just can't. Yeah,
he's on the team with him now. Do you know
exactly.
What I mean?
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Yeah, I think that was the first article I wrote for you, man, on your website as well, bro.
It was
when he was drafting, man. Yeah, so
I remember
I'll never forget it, mate. I'll never forget Jalen Smith, mate.
Crazy! That was such a weird pick.
Very strange pick. Yeah.
But yeah, I also like Tyrese Halliburton. He hasn't got like a traditional shot. It's kind of a bit janky, and I quite like that. It's kind of like he pushes from like the chin, sort of thing.
Yeah. Did it give you Marion vibes, or?
Yeah, kind of. Well, actually, to be fair, the reason I like it is because when I shoot threes, I shoot from the chin.
Really? Oh,
yeah. If I'm mid range, I'll shoot like textbook, but from three.
Oh, yeah.
Because I used to shoot them when I couldn't really shoot them when I was younger. It's just been a launch in my arm, and it's just stayed like that.
Yeah. Need a bit more velocity, mate, don't we?
Yeah.
Need a bit more velocity. Forget that, mate.
That's it. Yeah, I need that extra height, you see. So, yeah, I quite like that about him.
Yeah.
Obviously, I keep an eye on Mikal as well, and Johnson, just because they were with us and stuff. But overall, there's not. I used to always look at KD. He's on our team now, so
yeah. The two non-Suns who I used to keep watching of the most were CP and KD, and they both ended up on the Suns. This for me is like, well, once we got KD, mate, I was like, this is just the best thing to get watch CP and now KD every 2-3 times a week now. For me, it's just been amazing to watch because I always kind of looked out for those guys because I just love how they play and their attitude towards the game and stuff. Just fantastic.
Complete professionalism. Just take it really seriously and love it. Yeah. I think part of the reason I don't look out for guys so much anymore, I think when we're growing up as a teenager and even as a young adult, you kind of idolize these guys and they are your idols. But I think now we're getting to the point where I hate to say it, I feel like an old geezer now. So it's actually clicked in my head now that when these guys come in the league, they are like 12, 13 years younger than me, whereas it took me a long time to realise that. 25, it was kind of like they're coming in the league and I was like, wow, sort of thing. Yeah, so I think now, because I haven't got that sort of starry-eyed idolism of people in general, because I'm of that age, I don't go seeking people so much. So yeah, that's why I think it's a bit boring. Like you was just saying, CP3, KD, they're still from our generation of that starry-eyedness. But I just part of it is just don't have time to keep looking out for others.
No, that's it.
Obviously, if I see that Doncic or any of the big players have had like amazing games, I'll go back and watch them. So obviously, we had that week where Booker scored like 60 or whatever it was. Then Doncic the same night scored, what was it, 70 and a couple nights before that MB scored 72 and all that sort of stuff.
It was the crazy week, wasn't it? It was like all happened within a few days, didn't it? It was just madness.
Yeah, that's it. So I love that. I'll always go and watch that. So I watch those games. just because it's just so amazing to watch it.
Yeah.
And as much as they were going, oh, it's too common, it's not common. Otherwise, you wouldn't be like splattering it all across ESPN, and it wouldn't be such a crazy thing. And it'd be every week, and it isn't. It's like 3 or 4 in a really small space of time, and that's what's so amazing about it. If anything, we got more of that back in the day when you had the likes of Kobe, Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, and all that lot. AI chucking up, averaging 40 points for like 2 weeks straight. Do you know what I mean? Like, we don't have that so much. Or even like 6-7 years ago with Harden putting up those crazy numbers. Like, I don't think we do see it as much anymore because, there's less chance to do it, I guess, because the other teams are also so good. Not because they're not as good, but like the other teams have as much talent as us.
I think there's most talent in the league that's ever been, I think.
Oh,
the
absolutely.
amount of talented players now is ridiculous, isn't it?
And it's
some
crazy
teams
when
wouldn't have like a star player. I think every team kind of has a franchise player almost in
yes,
sense.
yeah, they all have a franchise player. Not all of them are stars, like to the point where they're like big names and that, but they are franchise players. 100% agree with that. And I think when you hear the argument of, oh, if this player played in today's age, they'd be well good. It's like, no, they won't. Like, they couldn't shoot. Like, like you have to shoot. You have to be able to shoot in today's NBA. You pretty much have to. You have to be a offensive threat somewhere on the court. That's why we struggle with Okogie, because if he's not hitting the shot, he has to be so amazing on defense, which he is. He's able to do it. But I'm sorry, like when you hear, oh yeah, if they were in this day and age, they'd be doing this and that. No, they'd be like maybe from like the mid 2000s onward, as we saw, with like people like Carmelo Anthony, even LeBron and stuff like that, 90s players, nah. That was rare back then for them to score massive, massive numbers because they just weren't as good. And it's nothing against them. They didn't have the technology. They didn't have the systems. Like there's academies from such a young age now, even in Europe, like you've just got so much more of it. And you've got all of these amazing players from before. They're having children and they're passing it on. I don't think you had that quite as much. And it's like with anything, humanity, technology, it evolves and you see this crazy stuff. And do you know what I mean? Like all the kids now want to be Steph Curry.
Yeah, they do.
Right? Not saying they can, but they want to play that style. And that style necessitates you having to be able to shoot and all that sort of stuff. And just that each generation that gets better on the court, on the telly, improves our younger generations, because what they're seeing, they're just setting the mark higher and higher and higher, and they're trying to reach that. So yeah, we're very lucky with the NBA we have right now, in my opinion.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, it's in a good place, I think, isn't it? Yeah, like you say, it's in a good position in general. For sure, the amount of talent, man. Yeah, absolutely. Last one before we head off, mate. Have you got your favourite current Suns jersey, and then also an all-time Suns jersey?
Yeah. Shall I start with the current?
Either or, mate. Yeah, go for it.
I'll start current. Why not? So, actually, funny enough, today in the post, I received the current associations, the white sunburst. I've been holding off a little bit because I knew we'd be keeping them for at least 2-3 seasons or whatever.
I hope so. I can't keep up with it, mate.
Yeah.
I tend to these every year, dude. Like,
I know. Like the cities are really nice. Like I had the blue one last year, and the detailing that was really cool.
Class, mate.
I do really like the black jerseys because it means you can wear them a lot with a lot more stuff, having black as the main bit. So like, I think I spoke to you about this last summer. No, not this summer, just gone the summer before, when we were almost going to get KD in the chat, when everyone's like, are you going to get the statement jersey? And I was like, no, I'm saying it now. I'm holding back for KD.
I'm holding,
but I actually didn't get that one. So I got a statement.
Really?
So my son got a KD. I got him a KD because he wanted a KD one. I wanted a KD as well, but the place I was getting it from, they were on offer. and they didn't have KD in my size, so I got a Booker. So I've got a Booker statement, but
Okay.
the association one that comes today, that's a Durant, that's a 35 Durant.
Nice.
But yeah, current favorite, it is actually the City jersey, the Elvy one. I've got it.
Yes. Have we got one? Yeah, I don't know if you got one or
here.
not.
I still got the tag in. How sad's that?
Wow.
Tags in.
yeah. It's cool, isn't it, man? Yeah.
So we've got the Elvy one.
Love it.
I love the font on it for the numbers as well. On there, and then the pinstripe detailing like a low rider. I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of nail it with jerseys, man. I think we're one of the better teams in the league in terms of jerseys. I think so. Our designs are usually pretty class. I think. Compared to some of the others that you see out there. I might be biased though. I don't know, but yeah.
Maybe. I know I am. But yeah, I even like this little bit as well. That's a really cool piece. So if you like cars on low riders, you tend to have just a bit of this, either usually on the back, what we would call a boot or the trunk. You have a little sigil there. And also a really random thing, and this is just proper geeky. I like that Nike have started putting like the tag down here, so it says City Edition, and the new one says Association.
Yeah, because I never remember what they are. I never remember which ones are which.
Exactly.
I was like, the Valley one. I don't know.
Exactly. So especially with the the icon and association, because old school like we are, it's just home and away.
Well,
but they're not home and aways anymore.
You had a white jersey or the coloured jersey. That was it. That was the one.
Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, this one's really cool, and the campaign they did with it, I love the way that this one and the blue one from last year was celebrating like the communities within within Arizona and Phoenix, because I think some of the other teams just do it on like landmarks and stuff like that, but they really have hit it well with these.
Yeah. Again, because we had the Valley jersey before that, didn't we? Which was a very popular one, which I've also have one of them as well. And then we've gone from that one to this El Valley one. It just seems like we've gone from one classic one to another, mate, to me. So they always do well. I always find, because I always have a look at other teams' jerseys and what they've got and kind of appreciate. But I think we're always up there, man, with our jersey designs. I don't know if you agree, bro.
Yeah, since we've gone to Nike, they've been really good. We did the Black Lost Suns City one. That's one of my favorites as well, just really basic. I've got that in a Booker. I really wanted a Ricky Rubio, being that it had Spanish on it.
Yes.
But I could never get one. Unfortunately, I missed the boat on that. I had the idea too late. And then all you could get was Bookers. So I do keep an eye out on like eBay, but but that was nice. But yeah, I'm a sucker for, like I said, the black ones. Any black jersey, I'm like, I'm on that, because you can wear it with anything.
Yeah, very versatile then, isn't it? Like you say, summertime, it's either or. But
yeah, it leads me on to my all-time favorite one. Now, this isn't the original. I have got a champion version. But the black sunburst.
Yeah, it's a classic. It's an absolute classic. It'll never go away, mate. It's the one, isn't it? How could you not?
This is a Dragic one. So
nice, rare one, bro. Rare.
Yeah, purchased from Throwback Store.
Shout out Throwback Store.
If you want to use my code, it's SunsFans UK. Get yourself 10% off on anything.
Absolutely,
on there.
I'll take advantage when I can, sir. Yeah.
That's this one with the Adidas ones. They're stitched as well.
Yeah, the detailing.
Nice. Yeah, detailing's really fantastic. Good. I thought I had. So for years was, when I wasn't sort of part of the scene anymore, I really wanted for years the black champion one, and then about 3 or 4 months after I started my account, it was Hoopin' and Luton. He had a Barkley one, so I've got a Barkley champion one. But it's very specific. It's the European one, so the logo is bigger across it, not the small ones, because I really specifically wanted that. Because I had the purple in Kevin Johnson, which was my first ever jersey. And so I wanted Barkley. So now I'm always on the lookout for a white one with a different player. Probably Dan Marley, but I don't want the same player. I want different ones.
Mate. Yeah. Do you know how many jerseys you've got, Matt, in your collection?
Someone put a tweet on the other day saying, "How many Booker jerseys do you have?"
Right.
And I think in my head I counted like about 6 or 7, I think it was.
No. Yeah.
So yeah, I got that many of those. So they're newer ones. I've got tons of non-Suns ones as well.
Yeah.
Because I just used to, back in the day, as you know, like whatever one you could pick up, you would get. So
yeah, I used to buy jerseys of players who were liked, not just the Suns.
That's it.
Obviously, when the Suns weren't very good for a while, there wasn't many people to get with it. So yeah, I've got I only buy Suns ones now, and I've done
same.
the last probably 6 or 7 years now. I think I only buy. But I did the stupid thing and counted how many I got the other day and started questioning my life choices and stuff.
Well, I almost this week bought the All-Star jersey. I almost bought a Booker All-Star, and I'm glad I didn't, because I wouldn't have been able to afford the books trainers that got released.
Yes.
So I did get a pair earlier.
Yes. Did you get one? Yeah, I snagged one. Nice, mate.
Yep. Yeah, I got them this morning. I think our friend of the account, Luke, I think it was, put on saying they're available on Nike now, sort of thing. So I jumped on there and did that.
Nice. Shout out to Luke, man. He watches the podcast as well, man. So shout out to him as well.
Luke is like amazing. He's like one of the most supportive followers I've got. He even found the association jersey that got delivered today for me.
Really?
It was in my size, and he was like, "I thought of you straight away," and like he ordered it for me because I was having problems with eBay. And
really?
Great.
Oh,
Luke,
what a guy!
Luke, you are definitely a lovely guy, and congratulations here on the pod. He's recently had a little girl. I know this weekend, as we're recording, he's looking after her by himself for the first time. So I hope that's going well, Luke.
Big weekend, man.
But no, as soon as I was like, I've got to get it, and I kind of said to my wife, I was like, "Can I get it?" And then Nike were doing like 20% off when you spent over £100. She was like, "Yeah, that sort of thing." So hopefully they'll be here next week. They're the summer trainers.
Yeah, them as well. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. I'm waiting out for maybe some of the other colorways. Hopefully, if they come available, man.
Yeah, I
don't know if they are.
We don't know which ones are coming out. I think a lot of those ones we've seen on the court will be just PEs. So if they do come out, they'll be in very small numbers, and therefore sort of like be on StockX for like $1,000 or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
And I just like these ones that they'll go with just sort of nice white t-shirt, some shorts and all that sort of stuff. And
like I said, summertime sneaker out there. Like
that's it. Yeah, I mean, I don't hit the court very often anymore, so I don't need a performance shoe, and I'm well into Blazers at the moment. They've been my sort of mainstay the last couple of years, and there's inspiration in these shoes from Air Force Ones and Blazers, and that's what I'm into at the moment. And the fact that they're Bookers, I've never had a favorite player, let alone a Suns player, have a signature shoe.
Yeah, got to support him, haven't we, mate? We've got to support him.
Yeah, exactly. And they're all sold out now on Nike, which is really nice to see.
I think people were worried that they weren't going to sell, but they've all gone from the UK, haven't they? What numbers they had, but
I'm not sure. I mean, we're really lucky over here that they didn't go onto sneakers for a raffle. I know they did in America. I know a lot of people unfortunately missed out on those, but we were lucky here that you could just buy
they went straight on tonight, didn't they? Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's good to have be supporters of a niche sport. I mean, I imagine a lot of them went later in the day, just people buying them up to resell, I guess. But
I think they went on sale over here earlier than they did in America. I'm sure they did.
Yeah. So once again, I think it was Luke. He posted something earlier was it last week in the chat? We have a group chat. If anyone wants to join, just hit me up and I'll add you to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think they're on Foot Locker, but I'm not sure if they were like you could buy them and they wouldn't get shipped until at least like from today onwards, I guess, because this was the official release date. But they've been sitting there for a while. But I didn't know if when they got on there last week that they were there because that was the only colorway, and then today we'd see more colorways. But no, it looks like they're being coming out in dribs and drabs. But the fact that we only saw the Mirage last week and they got released this week, I don't think the other colorways that are going to be released, we've even seen them yet. I think all the ones we've been seeing him play in are Ps only. Obviously, you have the limited run orange ones that
I love
don't know how many there were. There weren't many.
No, they look cool, man. Look really sweet.
But yeah, if anyone, about a couple of hours before we started recording, clips started coming online of his ones that he's wearing at the All-Star weekend, and they're to pay homage to the 1995 game in Phoenix.
Yeah,
they look so cool.
They are so really cool, man.
They are an on-court shoe, in my opinion. You would not. I couldn't rock those. They're like bright purple, but they're sick. Yeah. They look really good.
Yeah, I don't care, mate. If I like them, I wear them. I don't care. I'm like, I can't pull them off. Who cares, man? If you like them, just do it. Just rock it.
Yeah, true. I'm a bit more conservative, I must admit. I used to be, mate.
I used to be. Now I just say I don't care. I'm like, I like them. Don't care what colour they are, mate. If you like them, just rock it, mate. So.
I'm very much. I have to have things that match. I've always been like it, and my best mates were the same as well. So it used to be shoes, t-shirt, hat, all had to match. Yeah. So I'm not very good at rocking like just jeans, white tee, and some really bright ass trainers. I have to. I have to have some sort of coordination in there. So
fair, mate. Fair. No,
that's why.
Who knew that we'd end the show about fashion tips? But
well, I wouldn't take tips from me, to be honest. I'm wearing a proper just Jordan hoodie. Like there's nothing outlandish about that.
Nothing wrong with that, dude. Nothing wrong with that, mate. But thanks very much for agreeing to do the pod, mate. Really appreciate it, man.
You're most welcome.
You're one of the hardest working guys in the NBA UK fans community, mate. So. I just hope you've got the time to keep it up, mate. And I'll always read the weekly newsletter, mate, and stuff. It's great. I'm sure it takes you a lot of time to do, bro. So, kudos to you. And hopefully, we keep the Suns group chat alive, and hopefully we can end the season with hopefully bringing a title, mate.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, fingers crossed. If we do get that far, maybe we'll do some watch-alongs together. How about that? I'll set something up.
Mate. Yeah,
now that playback is so easy to sort out, we can look at doing that.
Yeah,
if we get to the finals.
Oh man!
And if we do win it all, maybe we'll have to sort of get together somewhere and celebrate that as a
neutral territory, somewhere neutral for everyone. But
we won't know what to do. Like, is it a dream?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's been a while. But yeah, thanks very much, man. So, do you want to just tell the people who are listening, who are watching it, where they can find you on your socials? Do give yourself some self promotion.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm on Twitter, X, Instagram, and Threads. It's Go On My Suns. If you're in the US, it's a play on words, a pun, because here in the UK, when we're watching sports, we say "Go on, my son." So Go On My Suns. Nice. The article that we've mentioned, I write a weekly roundup called Around the Suns, and that is still on sunsfansuk.com. But yeah, socials is where you'll find me. Matt_Elvy as well on the personals if you want to do that. But yeah, shout out to you, Matt. Well done for doing this. I know you've been wanting to get a podcast off the ground for a while. Sorry, I didn't pull my finger out and say yes to you when you brought it up a little while ago, but well done for doing this.
Hey, no problem, mate. No problem. I just thought if we could have done a Suns podcast, but now I've got the opportunity to bring you on here, man, so we could talk some Suns basketball. So at some point, mate, you just got to bite the bullet and do it, haven't you? So
absolutely
get it going yourself and stuff. So thanks very much for coming on, dude. Really appreciate it again. So. That's all we've got then, guys. So thanks very much for watching or listening. I'll drop the video and the podcast on Monday morning, and then I'll tweet it out, and I'll tag you and Matt if that's all right with you. Just to say,
100%, yeah, definitely.
You've been, and we'll chuck it out on the airways, as they say. So yeah. But thanks very much, guys. So take care, and we will see you again very soon.